If you want to end up confused, nauseous, and just wishing you didn't pick up your Quest 3, then go ahead and skip this video. If you stayed, then this is your complete beginner's guide to your Quest 3 or Quest 3S. This video will be broken out into 7 sections because Meta won't tell you this, but these 7 changes will make your Quest 3 experience way better. Now, I'll be honest, this first one's kind of a gimme, but it's just going ahead and getting your Quest 3 set up. Throw in your Quest 3, and you're gonna get a prompt that will walk you through the first steps you need to take to set it up until you get to the point that you need to download the MetaQuest app to your phone. And once you get in there, it'll explain what you need to do. You're gonna go ahead and set up an account. You're gonna go ahead and link that over to your headset. And then we're ready to actually get into what you need to know to get the most out of your Quest 3 experience. So step 2 is all about getting comfortable. It's gonna help you avoid headaches, nausea, and just kind of that early confusion. And where we're gonna start is right here on the bottom, on the IPD adjuster, which stands for interpupillary distance. The important part of it is it's how far apart your eyes are from each other. And more than likely, you probably don't know how far apart your eyes are. So a super simple free app you can pick up on the iPhone is called iMeasure. You have an Android, another app you could try out is called Glasses On. So basically you're gonna go download that app, let it scan your face, and it will show you your IPD that you need to set your Quest 3 or 3S up for. The Quest 3 has a super simple slider that goes back and forth. The Quest 3S still has the old notches that we had in the Quest 2. I have heard that you can kind of go in between the notches to get a little closer. The next step in setting up the comfort for your Quest 3 is going to be within the faceplate. So essentially you can adjust how closely your eyes are to the screen or how far away it is. This is also going to depend on if you're wearing glasses and you want to wear glasses while you're wearing the Quest. It's going to give you the extra space you need for the lenses to actually fit in there, or you can get it so close to your eyes that they burn out a little faster. So that's up to you. I will warn you that if you do wear glasses, you don't want your glasses to scratch up against the lens of the Quest because it will scratch the Quest lenses. There are also inserts you can get, prescription eye inserts, and you can get those from a couple different companies. My next suggestion whenever it comes to comfort mods is you're definitely going to want to pick up a different head strap than the one that comes with the Quest 3. And when it comes to head straps, you have a ton of third-party options. I would definitely stick away from the Meta branded head straps because they're kind of overpriced for what you're actually getting. For me, I use something called a Halo style strap. So basically the back of it goes against the back of my head. The front of it is up against my forehead. You also have the option of Elite straps, kind of the same, but you're gonna have that one strap that goes over the top of your head as well. So it kind of evenly puts it on the back of your head, the front of your face, and over the top of your head. It's definitely going to come down to a personal preference. Oh, and definitely whichever one you do decide to get, I recommend just spending the small amount of extra money to get one that has a battery on it. And that's going to extend your playtime to pretty much however long you want to play. The Quest already has about a 2-hour battery life. You get about another 2 or 3 depending on the battery that you get. So I just go ahead and invest in one. It'll be a lot more comfortable and it'll let you stay in VR for however long you feel like it. So my next 3 comfort mods actually don't have anything to do with the headset itself because they're all items you can pick up in the real world instead of the virtual one. My very first one I would recommend if you're someone that experiences motion sickness is to pick up some Dramamine. Dramamine is basically just a medicine you can take that helps counteract the feeling of motion sickness. You can also get a little Honeywell fan or any cheap fan that either you already have or you can pick up from a local Walmart. And the idea behind the fan is it's going to give you an outside source that gives you kind of a cardinal north. And the last tactile item I would pick up would just be a rug. It doesn't have to be one of those fancy VR rugs. Just a normal living room rug would work. It kind of gives you an extra point of contact while you're in VR, and that will also help mitigate some of the motion sickness. And a quick note on motion sickness is definitely a known issue with VR. So most games, not all of them, but most of them will come with either snap turning, they'll come with teleportation movement, and they'll come with these little blinder options within the games that really help that. That being said, if you do start experiencing motion sickness, even if it's 10-15 minutes into the game, that is your body begging you to stop playing. Don't push through it. I've tried pushing through it and it's pretty much going to ruin the rest of your day. And over time, you'll slowly acclimate. That's just my suggestion. Just do not push through it. You will regret it. All right, moving on to step number 3, and that's getting familiar with your controls. So obviously your Quest is going to come with these 2 things right here, your 2 controllers. The Quest also comes with your hands. So the Quest is going to support both hand tracking and obviously the controller tracking. So you kind of want to get an idea from the beginning of how each one works. So to do that, we're going to throw on the headset. All right, now that we've got the headset on, we can go ahead and start checking out the controls. So the most important thing you really need to know on day one is how to recenter your screen. Because every once in a while, if you set the headset down, you put it back on, or you're trying to face back to your cardinal north, everything might not be centered anymore. So the easiest way to do that is on your controllers. You have your meta button over here on your right controller. You're just going to hold that. Whenever you hold it, as you can see, it just recentered to exactly where I'm looking. Secondly, we're going to hop down here into our quick access menu. So you're going to click on that, and this is the quick access menu right here. As you can see, we have a bunch of different options. It's going to tell us where our battery is on our controllers and on the headset. It'll tell us what time of day it is. You have your extra settings over here, but for now, we're going to stick right here. Here's where you're going to connect to your Wi-Fi. You can turn your pass-through on and off through here. You can also do it by double tapping the side. If you have devices available that you can cast to, whether that's your phone or a TV, you can go over here to set that up. You can connect any of your Bluetooth devices over here. This is where you set your boundary, whether that's room scale or if it's stationary. If you're going to use a link cable to either do Quest Link or Steam VR or anything like that, here's your option over here to do that. And then we have a couple different ones down here. This is where you can either turn up or down your brightness. You can either mute or unmute yourself. And this is going to be the sound coming out of the Quest right here. Next, this also gives you your access to your settings. As you can see, it pulls up a new screen, and we have all of these different settings. But before we start messing with those, I'm going to go into hand tracking mode so we can kind of look at what your hands can do. So as you can see, mine highlight blue, so I can kind of see where my hands are at. It'll follow them. And the cool thing about this, you're going to grab it over here on the side. Sometimes it is a little finicky. I kind of have trouble getting it to work sometimes, but you can just kind of move your screen around anywhere you want. So if I wanted to break my neck and look straight up, I could. Just grab that edge again, and then I can reset it over here. I can also look down, and you can see I have the button options on my hands as well. So if I just pinch, I now have the option to unmute, pass through, open up the menu, recenter, open up AI, and stop and start recording. Obviously, I'm recording right now. You also have the option, if you're not trying to grab things, is sometimes, honestly, it's a little finicky. I'm probably cutting out a lot of where it's not working for me. So I do just want to reiterate the point that even though it is cool, it's a little finicky. But whenever you're just looking around and trying to click on things, so for instance, I can click on this Bluetooth. I can go over here, click on general, accessibility, and all I'm doing is pinching my two fingers together. That does work pretty well. Moving us into tip number 4, which is to look through your settings. So we're going to start up here on general. You have your software update. So if you do need to update the headset, as it seems like I do right now, you can just go over here, hit update now. You can either click on, or you can just click it with your finger. I'm not going to right now because I don't want the recording to stop. You also have options on your environment setup where you can set up your boundary. You can set up your space for mixed reality games. You can set up your virtual environment, pass through. You have some accessibility options. So if you are someone that is colorblind or you need larger text sizes, this is where you would go in to fix some of that stuff. You have your display and brightness, just depending on what you like your headset to look at. You also kind of have some of these in the quick settings when it comes to display brightness, but you also have your display theme. And for me, I'm a dark connoisseur whenever it comes to any UI elements. So I have mine set to dark, but if you wanted to, you could set it to light and then just apply changes. You also have some color correction options. If some of these colors you can't see that well, here's another place for you to go do that. And then you kind of have the usual suspects here. You got your audio settings, your camera settings, the meta AI settings, which I have used some of. I don't feel like it works that well. Maybe I'm just using it incorrectly. Let me know if I am and if it works very well for you. But it seems like a lot of times when I try to use meta AI, it just doesn't recognize that I'm even speaking to it. You've also got your privacy and safety. You've got your passcode and security. So if you're sharing the headset with a spouse, a kid, anything like that, you can set a passcode for your headset. It's also good if you have, say, your credit card information on the headset to buy games. You can set up a passcode to where you're not worried about other people throwing the headset on and just spending all your money. And then lastly, we get into advanced settings. And this is kind of where you get into like experimental features. I do recommend just taking a dive into here. So if you want a deeper dive on these settings, this kind of isn't the video for that. I mostly just want to show you that they are here and you should be going through and playing with the things in here. But if you are interested in that deeper dive, I am working on a video for that coming out soon. So subscribe if you want to see that. Okay, now that we've set up the headset, we get to using the Quest for what it was meant for, and that's playing games and having experiences. So since you probably just spent about $600+ on your Quest, I definitely don't recommend just going out and starting to buy games all willy-nilly. There are a lot of good free games already on there. So I'm going to throw up some of my recommendations depending on the type of gamer you are. So if you are someone that already enjoyed Fortnite or first-person shooter games, I don't think there's any better game you can go ahead and pick up day one than Population 1. I personally still play Population 1. I played it back when it costed money before it went to a free-to-play model. It's completely free to play now, super fun, and it's definitely going to go ahead and scratch that itch of just getting into the Quest and playing it. Now, if you're more into the social simulation kind of games, there's a ton of them out there. I mean, the Quest is really made to be kind of a social simulation platform, really. And I'm not really talking about MetaQuest Worlds. You can go check it out. It's okay. But if you want to go in and actually interact with other players, if you're a bit on the younger side, I recommend going into Rec Room. You have a bunch of different games you can play in there, types of games, different sports. It's going to give you a lot of different experiences that you would normally pay for another game on the store on, but you're getting it for free. So you can kind of go in and figure out if you like FPS games, if you like strategy games, if you like sports games. It'll kind of give you a little taste of a bunch of different types of experiences in VR for you to then go and make a purchasing decision for a game that is within that genre. More social sim games would be like Gorilla Tag. I know that's huge now. There are a ton of Gorilla Tag clones out there. There's a lot of children on there. It's also pretty toxic. So if you want to hear racist children, I guess that's a good place to go. But a lot of people really enjoy it. And it'll kind of give you a new locomotion type to use other than just using your controller to move left and right like you would on any normal controller. You're actually using your arms to move around. You've also got Roblox on there. This is actually something I didn't realize. I wasn't a big Roblox kid. I think it just came to the Quest pretty recently, if I'm not mistaken. But that's another place you can go and just experience a lot of games. And that's kind of the beauty of these free games that are more social focused, is a lot of people go in and make games inside of those games. So before you go and spend your cold hard earned clams on any other games, you can hop into these first. And honestly, you might not even want to buy a game after that. You might find something in those that you really like, but it'll give you a good baseline of one, what you can handle when it comes to motion sickness if you're still new, but also it'll show you the different types of games and applications that are on the Quest. And if you're more into creative games, there's also something called Open Brush, where basically you can sit in mixed reality with an easel and you can paint as if you're at an easel at your house, but you don't have to get any of the mess. So that's the beauty of it. And my last one, which I kind of think is a sleeper hit, is Star Vault VR. So if you're a League of Legends Dota player, you enjoy MOBAs, that is probably the best MOBA I've found on the Quest. And it's still an open beta. It's fully free to play. There's no microtransactions. If you want some PvP, but you also want to be in a MOBA while also being in first person, then please go and try it out. One game I would warn you to stay away from, especially if you're new, is Epic Roller Coasters. I know it looks super fun. I thought it would be super fun the first time I got in it. And it pretty much made me immediately have to take the headset off the first time I was in VR. It's definitely not like those arcade 4D roller coasters that you might get in. Let me know if this is a deep cut. I'm really not sure. But you would be like a pinball going through like a pinball machine. They had them at like Chuck E. Cheese. Either way, Epic Roller Coasters is not that. So tip number 6, and now we're kind of stepping outside of gaming, and it's games aren't the only thing you can do on your Quest. You have YouTube VR, you have Netflix on there, you have big screen to watch movies, and you get access to 3D movies. A really cool thing with YouTube VR as well, it's recognizing that you're in a VR headset, so you can watch VR experiences from YouTube. And it's just another way for you to kind of experience other things that maybe you'd never get to experience unless you had VR. People have gone and made completely VR films where you can basically go and be a part of some kind of production, but you can actually look around and see what's going on. And on top of that, there's also productivity things you can do in there. I haven't deep dived into productivity on here yet. I do use it a little bit because I can look over here at my screen while I have the VR headset on and pass through. So if I'm going through a script or I'm trying to get some information in there, or possibly I'm getting information inside the VR headset while I'm doing something on the computer, it does kind of become a mini productivity machine. Just know that is an option for you. All right, so tip number 7 is going from what you should be doing in VR over to what you should not be doing in VR. Most of these are pretty simple, and I don't think Meta puts this anywhere. So the very first big don't, probably bigger than any of the other ones, is never put the lenses in direct sunlight. If you had a Quest 2 before, you might have heard that before, but basically these lenses are acting as magnifying glasses to a certain degree. So whenever you put the sun up against it, it's magnifying that into the LCD panels, and you'll burn holes into them. If you just bought the thing and that same week you set it out in the sun, I hate to tell you, but you're probably going to ruin the headset off rip. Another thing is the headset is relatively durable, but the arms on the side aren't. So be very careful, especially whenever you're changing head straps. I would say is probably when you're going to run into this the most. Of those little side arms on it are kind of flimsy to a degree. You really don't want to try bending them out. They can go up and down just a slight amount, but you never really want to be trying to pull them out because they are liable to snap. Basically, just treat it with care. Treat it like it's fragile, and you'll probably be fine on not breaking them. Lastly is make sure you're cleaning the lenses often. I mean, it's not going to break the lenses if you don't clean them, but it's definitely going to get to a point where it's going to get blurrier and blurrier. I personally use a little lens pen where it just pops out. I can kind of scrub it right there, and then I can clean it off with this. It's the same thing I use for my camera lens. So pretty much anything you'd use to clean a camera lens or even your glasses will be fine. Don't use paper towels or your shirt. Your shirt would probably be fine if you don't really do it that often, but definitely paper towels will start to scratch the lenses. And you can do the same with your shirt, depending on the material or if you have buttons on it and it hits it. And when it comes to cleaning them, don't use those glass cleaning sprays. You definitely should never be putting water or liquids on or in the headset. I mean, it is a finicky piece of technology, and as powerful as it is, a little bit of moisture can do a lot of damage. And here are a few bonus pieces of advice that I would have given myself whenever I started in VR is do not buy early access games unless you're willing to lose that money. I've definitely tried early access games. I paid for early access games that are now just dead. Like they don't get updates anymore. Some of them, the servers are completely turned off. And it really sucks whenever you drop 15, 20 bucks on an early access game and it just disappears like that. Or the game never gets to a point where it's actually good and even worth the money. So I would definitely, if you're looking at early access games and you say, no, Austin, I'm buying the early access game, at least check out the reviews. Because there have been a couple where I have been interested in getting them, like Thrill of the Fight 2, until I read the reviews and I realized, hey, like, let me give it some time for a full release, or at least to be further along in development. A good thing about that is a lot of games are starting to have demos. So if you are interested in a game, you're reading some of the reviews and you're not sure, definitely start trying out demos. It's kind of like a free game, and it'll give you an idea on whether or not you want to actually play that game in the future before you drop 15, 20 bucks on it. And a final piece of advice, and if you take literally nothing else from this video other than this, it's I really want to hammer home the point to not push through motion sickness. Like seriously, you're going to ruin VR for yourself. And it's really unfortunate because there are so many things you can do with it. It's such a fun platform to be in, and you're still kind of in the early stages while it's like developing. So you're really getting to watch like a whole new generation of games be created, but just one bad motion sickness episode can ruin the whole thing for you. Well, that's all I got. Peace.